Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So a fairly low activity day with SPY giving us a daily inside bar. But what inside bars tell us is to anticipate more volatility tomorrow. So we'll see where our sectors are shaping up into tomorrow as we anticipate a little bit more action. So looking at the S&P 500 futures chart, the consolidation that we saw overnight, Sunday night into this morning, it's still very healthy overall. And that's considering we V-shaped bounced on Thursday into Friday to close last week. So a back test and a hold of EMA's support, and we'll see overnight tonight and into tomorrow, can the bulls break and see continuation. As for SPY, the all-time high is in play. The question is going to be, do we set a daily lower high compared to 422.82, or can we see a new all-time high? Inside bar today showing declining volume, and again just a tighter, smaller range. If it breaks bearish, our daily lower high is set, and we then have to hold the low of last week, or the bears are going to take over. If the inside bar breaks bullish, again, we're just looking at the all-time high as our resistance. So today was a day where we saw a pattern that we've got used to over the past couple of months, which is the financial sector bullish and the tech sector and QQQ leading the way to the downside. And today was notably Apple, which is arguably the most important individual stock in the market, with a lead bear status as far as the tech sector was concerned. So overall, it's more of that swirling back and forth action, and that resulted in SPY giving us an indecision day and an inside bar. So looking at the NASDAQ futures, the 4-hour time frame, you can see the bounce was not as significant as SPY, and the pullback was a little bit more significant than SPY. So I am looking at two scenarios for tomorrow. We either bull break and see follow through on a confirmed, or I should say continuation of the 4-hour uptrend, or we fail to break the high and roll over and break the low of today. If that happens, then our daily lower high will be set. And then from there, we watch to see, can the bulls hold the low of last week? So any bull that's starting a daily bounce right now in a daily downtrend, they want to see as much bounce follow through as possible to shape up an eventual daily trend change. And bulls would love one more green day to create that space. If this is our top and we roll over from here, it's entirely possible that the same thing as last time happens and we see a clear another leg down. So keeping that possibility open unless we see another green day. If we see another green day, the odds of a daily high or low will increase fairly significantly for me once we top out. If we don't, and that is our top, we can definitely see another leg down. So prepare for both of those scenarios. Got a renegade bumblebee. Be right back. Rescue mission success. IWM. So daily bounce, following through a bit, and today was pretty much, Friday we saw a really strong bull day and no hourly consolidation on many names. And so today was that hourly consolidation taking place. And IWM is the perfect example of what the bulls wanted to see, which is the low of today as an hourly higher low compared to Friday, and then a strong close up at the high of the day, looking for bounce continuation. So after 221.41, we're looking up at the daily lower high resistance of 225.93. But this is a much different close up at the high, where if we see follow through, we start creating that space for the eventual daily trend change to try and take place. There's no guarantee that the daily trend change is going to take place. Again, it's all just probabilities, because on the size of this move here, I definitely would have anticipated a daily higher low to be set, and it just ended up being complete bear control. But if you want the probabilities to start to increase for potential daily trend changes, you need to create the space for that daily higher low and higher high to take place. XLF, reason for the bulls today. Closed right up at the high of yesterday, or high of Friday. Only broke the high of Friday by a penny. But the burden of proof is on the bears on this name. And the burden of proof is on the QQQ bulls. Very different standpoint to be in. The most important support level for me is the daily higher low of 36.54. And it will only be notable to me if that level breaks. If that level holds this week, then bulls keep their control. And of course, a new all-time high over 38.26 would go a long way to keeping that bull confidence going. And if that level breaks, I should say if support level breaks, it would be very notable to me to start getting cautious in the broader market overall. The financial sector has been the reason that the broader market bulls have remained comfortable over the last few weeks. Healthcare, again, we're setting up here for a possible head and shoulders pattern. So bulls have to be cautious. XLV is one of the reasons as well that the broader market bulls have been able to disregard tech sector weakness. And if we set a lower high here compared to the all-time high and roll over and break 121.61 support, we confirm a daily downtrend and we confirm weekly consolidation is then underway. And that'll be the first time in almost 2 months. So if that happens and QQQ is still in a daily downtrend, S&P 500 bulls start to get a little bit more nervous, a little bit more cautious. All about 121.61 on XLV and make that 36.54 on XLF. Biotech sector, so fairly weak bounce still at this point. Daily EMA 12. We did get a little higher low and higher high here on the 4-hour time frame. I do not consider that enough to be a daily trend change. And again, it's just because we're coming from such a prolonged downtrend of bear control. If we are in a daily uptrend and you give me that little higher low, higher high, I'll say, yeah, that's a new higher low being set. But not when you're coming from a significant daily downtrend. That being said, inside bar today, again, very tight range. Today was the kind of day where I was bored midday. And if you ever feel bored as a trader, that needs to be an automatic stop loss in your brain of no more trading. Be disciplined. Prove to yourself that you have the discipline. If you feel boredom, stop trading. Because that means you're going to go looking for action. And that usually means you're going to force a trade. If the inside bar breaks bullish, the bulls are looking up at the high of the bounce, 128.88. 129.16 is right behind it. If it's an inside bar bear break, we're looking right back down at the lows. Bigger picture, bulls want to break the high of last week to try and create space for an eventual weekly trend change to try and take shape. Semiconductors. So here's a scenario where, looking at the semiconductors, we broke the low of Friday by 56 cents. And you look at this and you might say our daily lower high has been set. And I wouldn't argue and say you're wrong, because that is the general way that we view this. But I look at this candle and say, okay, we barely broke support and we closed at the high of the day. I'm considering this still the same bounce underway. And that is my prerogative as an individual technical analyst. I get to say what's a higher low for me and what isn't. And in this little fringe example, I can say this is still the same bounce for me from that low of 222.82. No daily lower high has been set yet. And we're looking at the high of the bounce, 234.90 resistance. And I would view anything under 245.50 as a daily lower high. So I am still viewing this bounce as underway. No daily lower high set yet. Bulls need more follow through to create the space for an eventual daily trend change to try and take place. Solar sector still very weak. Possible daily bear flag still. I would need to see these bulls get up over 75 plus if we're going to be negating a daily bear flag. If we break the low of today tomorrow, 70.20, or make that 69.96. If we break the low of today tomorrow, odds of a daily bear flag will increase a good bit. We cooled off the daily RSI. We can absolutely see another leg down. MSOS, little bounce underway. Anything under 43.30 is just a daily lower high. And again, bulls need to see a big enough bounce to create the space for a daily trend change to try and take place. Lots of individual names in the growth sectors that have been consolidating for months. The burden of proof is absolutely on bulls. I am in an ARK swing position, ARKK. I had an average that I got down to 95 by selling half into strength. So I'm very comfortable knowing that I most likely cannot lose on the trade unless we see a big gap down open. But I don't trust these bulls at all. That's a daily bear flag. Bulls are not proving anything to me. So that's important. You know, I want it to go up. I want it to be bullish. I want a monthly higher low to form, but I have to ensure that that is not influencing how I am viewing this chart. I can hold something bullish and still be bearish on it, which is what I am. I'm still bearish on ARK unless the bulls prove something to me with volume, with a big enough bounce to not be a bear flag. So why am I in the trade? Just because it's a high risk trade that I positioned myself to be risk free and I'm letting it play out. Not a high risk trade. High probability of stop out trade risk was perfectly acceptable with the position size and the percentage drop that would have stopped me out. The VIX, weak close on the daily inside bar, but it is a daily inside bar. If it breaks bullish, our daily high or low is set. If it breaks bearish, we're looking down at 1870 and 1670 as two short-term levels. The dollar, still weak. Daily downtrend continues. Key low of 89.98 is in play. Bulls would have to hold 89.98 and break 90.91 to confirm a daily trend change. If we don't do that, the bears keep their complete control. Metal bulls loving the weakness in the dollar. Really nice follow through. Daily bull flag confirmed. Higher highs. 1875 is now the next resistance zone for gold. And just creating more and more space. Every leg up we see, look at the monthly here. Anything under 1959 is a monthly lower high, but we are a good bit above our recent low now, creating that space for longer term trend changes to try and take place. Silver followed along. It was a bit of a laggard, but it also broke daily resistance. 28.33 and then multiple year high of 30.14 as the next couple of resistance levels. Miners following through in a big way. Look at that volume. Second gap up in a row. Bull break of 38.22 first thing. And next level, there's a gap to fill at 40.99. Bulls keeping complete control on the miners, following the metals. And just like that, daily RSI is at the highest point we've seen on these miners since July. Shift back into the metals over the last 2 months. I have no plans on adding to my positions. And just in hindsight, to go over how I played it, I had positions from I don't know how long ago. And I added to them on the weakness, looking for daily oversold and weekly RSI was approaching oversold. I exited my large positions on the initial bounce to go back to normal size positions. So I'm very comfortable in the positions that I have, and I'm not looking to increase any exposure in the metals. And higher highs would be wonderful. But as far as my allocation within my IRA as to what is metals, it's a good amount. And I'm comfortable with the fluctuations that it leads to on a daily basis. And on days like today, I didn't do a whole lot of trading today. I'll go over an NIO trade at the end here. But I ended up with a day and a half maker, and the majority of it was swing positions in metals going up, USMJ going up. ARC went down, but I still have SQQQ, and I will hold SQQQ until the QQQ bulls set up a daily trend change in their favor. So SQQQ offset what ARC dropped today and what SPY dropped today in my longer term holdings. Oil. Oil's at a key resistance test in the short term. 4-hour downtrending resistance line. Not really downtrending, but almost sideways. So I'm watching this pattern on the 4-hour time frame. 66.76 needs to break for a clear bull break. If we don't break that level, it's entirely possible we stay range bound, but it is shaping up for the bulls here. And natural gas breaking bull in a big way is helping with that lean. Because the energy sector is strong on the daily, trying to see continuation. Natural gas is seeing continuation. So now we just need to see oil see continuation as well and get over 67.29. Natural gas, so resistance from here, 312.2, which we topped out at. Where did I just see 312.2? I looked at the wrong number. That was weird. Anyways, 314.4 is the resistance. And we're watching oil to try and follow along. Clear 4-hour uptrend for natural gas. No red flags. And again, just hindsight, but the clear shift in momentum, which led to 6 bullish weeks, was a weekly bear flag where bears had complete control with no follow through. Complete control for a month, weak bounce, lower low, all bulls. So the NIO trade I took today was just watching a bullish correlation with QQQ. It very clearly stood out all morning as being stronger than the Qs. And I saw a setup where QQQ was going to be watching for a 5-minute trend change in favor of the bulls on the morning. It was a big enough bounce on the 5-minute chart that I was anticipating a 5-minute high or low. So I said to myself, okay, I am looking for an entry on a 5-minute high or low for NIO that coincides with the 5-minute high or low for QQQ. So I saw NIO 2-minute time frame double bottomed here at 33.44. As soon as that happened with 2 candles in a row, I said, all right, good enough for me. Bull entry, stop under that level, 33.39, looking for a new high of the day. We saw follow through. We got a new high of the day with a lack of follow through. And QQQ at that point, I saw the 5-minute trend change and the failure to break the high of the day. And I knew to zoom out and just be scouting the potential that that is just a 15-minute lower high if we can't break the high of the day. And as soon as I saw that starting to shape up, I exited half of NIO into strength at 34. So 33.59 was where I got filled, exited half at 34. Break even is now 33.19. And then I exited on a bear break of somewhere in the 33.70s on the second half because it was very clear at that point QQQ is giving us a 15-minute lower high. So that ended up being maybe a third of a day maker. Nothing huge. It was the swing positions that did it mostly for me today. But that allowed me to stay patient. You know, if I've got a day maker doing nothing because of swing positions, certainly don't feel any need to force any trades, especially on a SPY daily inside bar day. So we'll see what tomorrow brings watching the SPY daily inside bar. Continuing to watch the relationship between QQQ and XLF. They were tricky this morning. The first 30 minutes, they kept going back and forth between directly correlated in both directions and then a little bit of inverse action. It was a bit more tricky than most mornings. And perhaps that's because SPY ended up being a daily inside bar. Don't forget to do good things. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.